Hello Year 7, welcome to our first lesson in our new topic angles, and this lesson we're just going to look at how to label some points, lines, intervals, rays and angles and a few other definitions. So let's get started. First of all, a point is just a single dot and we usually label it with a capital letter, okay? And let's now look at what happens if I join up my 2 points. If I join up my 2 points, this is called an interval or a segment. I know you might be tempted to call it a line, but a line does technically have a different definition, which we'll see in a moment. Okay, so now let's look at our next definition. Let's say I join up my 2 points, but I keep going forever and ever in one direction, but I stop at this point here, or I stop at any point. That's called a ray. And that's why we have sun rays, you can see here, because they come out of the sun, which is considered a bit like a single point, a very big point, and it goes on forever and ever in the direction that it comes out of the sun at. Okay, now let's look at our line. So a line goes through 2 points but goes on forever and ever in both directions. Okay, now let's look at what happens when some intervals, rays or lines intersect. They intersect at an angle, and the 2 intervals, rays or lines are called the arms of the angles. You can see here I've got 2 rays as my arms, and I've got an angle between them. To label this angle, I use the capital letters of the points. So I've got A, B, C, and this angle in red is called angle ABC. I can put my angle sign out the front, or I can write it like this, ABC, with a little angle sign on top of the B. We use the first way more often. Okay, but what if I wanted this outside angle here? How would I do that? So let's say instead of wanting this angle ABC, I still wanted to go from angle A to B to C, but I'm interested in this angle here. Well, if this red one's angle ABC and this green one's also angle ABC, because we draw it from A to B to C, we just say it's angle ABC reflex. And a reflex angle is an angle which is larger than 180 degrees, which is the angle at the middle of a straight line. And I draw it with a little semicircle like this to indicate a 180 degree angle. Okay, let's look at a couple more definitions. So, if I have 3 points or more points with a line or an interval or a ray going through all of them, they're called collinear points. It's not really much point calling 2 points collinear points, because if I have 2 points, I can always draw a line through them. And if I have more than one line going through a point, we call these concurrent lines. And almost all lines are concurrent. They'll always meet at a point unless those lines are parallel. And these are parallel lines here. They go on forever and ever in one direction, and they will not meet, at least as long as I draw them on a 2D surface. And I indicate they're parallel by putting little arrows and the same little arrow there and there to say these are 2 parallel lines. If I've got 2 lines that are equal, and that's equal in length, what I do is I put a little mark here and a little mark here on each of these lines, and that tells me this line and this line are equal in length. Okay, so let's now take a look at a couple more definitions, and the first one is our lines are one-dimensional. Okay, so our line is one dimension. I can only go forward or back in it. But if I have a 2-dimensional flat surface, I call that a plane, okay? And a plane is like a line in 2 dimensions, and it goes on forever and ever and ever and ever in each direction. So think of it as like a giant never-ending sheet of paper. Okay, so let's now look at a nice 3D shape. So you can see I've drawn a shape here. This is 3-dimensional because I've got a left and right here, and up and down here, and kind of a forward and back dimension here. And you can see I've got my lines or my intervals shaded in blue, and the planes or the surfaces or the faces are shaded in red. Okay guys, that's it, just some quick definitions. So the homework for this lesson is Cambridge 7 2A and the odd questions, so 135 and so on and so on. And just note that is Cambridge 7. We are back to the Year 7 book. Okay guys, thanks very much. See you next time.